KITV4 News at 10, Hawaii's most complete late newscast.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Laura Yamada.
And I'm Kenny Choi. KITV4 and CivilBeat.com hosted a debate tonight between the three leading candidates for Honolulu mayor. It was 90 minutes of back and forth with just 1 month to go before the primary election. From the opening round until closing remarks, the issue of rail dominated once again, with Ben Cayetano the sole opponent of the $5.2 billion project.
The studies indicate that these rail projects average a 40% cost overrun for construction.
It's a real serious question whether he can stop it. And if he could, then the first thing he can do for all of us is rip up a check for $1.55 billion.
When the issue of labor unions came up, the candidates tried to explain how negotiating with police, fire, and other groups would be handled.
Make sure that we remain the safest big city in America. And that means our police officers, our firefighters, our ambulance drivers, EMS personnel, and lifeguards are paid properly.
Kirk has been endorsed by the unions because they know that he will go along with what they want.
It's better for the taxpayers in general that city employees are not getting unreasonable benefits like 21 days off, 21 days of vacation, 13 days of that, and all of that extra time off.
The merger of emergency medical services and the fire department revealed stark differences among the candidates.
And it's going to save money because we're going to combine the purchasing of equipment and fleets, combine training, combine the call center. These are all going to save money, but more importantly, it's going to save lives.
Do you know that we've tried to put fire and EMS together 4 times in the past, and it's always failed because nobody went to the trouble of doing it step by step.
Now, Kirk, if I recall correctly, is in favor of the merger. Yeah. I'm not at this particular point. He wants an ambulance in every fire station.
As for the future of the aging natatorium,
maybe better to fill it up, make it into a volleyball stadium or something like that.
Well, a recommendation was made to tear down the pool part of the natatorium, move the arches back a little bit Mauka, and preserve that, and then put out 2 groins and create more much-needed beach space.
I have been in discussions with Governor Abercrombie, and we're trying to figure out whether we can have a situation where it returns to the person who had it originally, which was the state, and ultimately end up trying to figure out if there is a sports opportunity or a new use of it that would be available.
Boy, so many issues to talk about. Joining us now, political analyst Neil Milner. And Neil, you were joining me in the web room earlier this evening. And not only did we have so many questions for the candidates, the viewers who were watching had a wide array of questions. But let's talk first about the debate overall. Your thoughts, how the candidates did.
Well, the debate was pretty civil and a little bit listless, and you might say sometimes a little boring. I don't think it was likely to change anybody's mind. That's not just because of the way the candidates performed. It's a little late in the day for that. And so if you listen to the things on rail, for example, which was just one of the many issues, by now people have probably decided on the basis of which faith they're going to put in, faith in getting the legislature to change its mind and get the money so that you can do something instead of rail, getting the federal money. So I think generally that was the kind of evening that it was. You're not going to change partisans' minds anyway. And so it's mainly about people who are fence-sitting. And this was a tough one to decide if you were fence-sitting.
you know, this is with 4 weeks to go before the primary election. This was really the candidates' last chance to make their pitch to the voters. When you heard the closing remarks, did any candidate miss his opportunity? Was there a candidate that took advantage of his last 2 minutes?
Yeah, I think, first of all, the mayor's race is really about nuts and bolts in many ways, and so it's easy, putting real aside, to fall into the nuts and bolts thing. And I think that the last 2 minutes, the candidates approached it in different ways, and some did much better than others. That last 2 minutes is about looking at the camera and establishing a connection with the audience and saying, this is who I am, this is what I believe. Peter Carlisle chose to make a laundry list of things. I don't think that's the most effective way to use the 2 minutes. Caldwell was better. He tried to do that. He talked about how much he loved the job. Ben Cayetano, in a sort of quiet way, in a way that didn't show much emotion, talked about power and influence, which is very much like the old Cayetano.
All right. Yeah.
Just really quickly, Neil, we have a little bit of time left. The live wire, there were so many questions. We were commenting on how engaged people were.
This is the most engaged and the most informative I've ever seen this kind of thing. There weren't many crank things. It was there. You could certainly build on that kind of potential. We didn't come anywhere close into getting at the level of engagement that the viewers showed.
All right, Neil Milner joining us tonight. Thank you so much.